Hey guys, it is Nick here with our Nick's Topics Marvel What If topic video for today. And today, we are going to be getting into a topic revolving one of the most powerful MCU characters, and what if he was hyped up in one movie only to be killed off later in it, like we were thinking that he was going to near the end. What if am I talking about, and what character am I talking about, you may ask? Well, I'm talking about the scenario that is, what if Thor was actually killed by the Destroyer? Now, with Thor basically, like I said, being one of the strongest characters in the Marvel continuity, him dying in his first and only movie near the end, especially after getting a relationship with Jane, sort of, this would be a drastic change in the Marvel Universe. Does that mean that everything in the Marvel Universe, everybody's dead like my Captain America and Iron Man stories? Well, no, not exactly, but a lot of negative repercussions would come of it. And now we are going to discuss them. So we open up with Destroyer making its dramatic entrance and offing Thor, this time actually killing him. Loki then kills Laufey, and goes to Jotunheim and destroys it. So he gets his wish in the end, killing his brother. Odin would still be in his sleep because of the bridge not getting destroyed, so Loki would remain king of Asgard, ultimately getting his wish, like I said. Now, with him not falling off of the bridge in turn, that means he does not meet Thanos, which means that by the time the Avengers movie hits around, Thanos would instead send his Black Order to go down and fight the Avengers. Now, for those of you thinking, oh, this is a mercy killing for the Black Order, they're just going to off the Avengers right away. Well, not true. Just because Thor isn't around does not mean that the Avengers still are not powerful enough on their own, especially Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk. I mean, Black Widow and Hawkeye definitely have their, the Black Widow and Hawkeye would actually, they wouldn't have, their dramatic fight in that movie because Loki wouldn't be there to control them, because he would never go to Earth. So, ultimately, the Avengers would only be rallied together when the Black Order actually shows up on the planet in New York. But, yeah, the Black Widow and Hawkeye would actually get along a little bit more because Hawkeye wasn't mind-controlled. Also, Hulk wouldn't be controlled by Loki, so Bruce Banner ultimately would reluctantly come to help because, need his help, but he would most likely come and help. Now, I still think that the nuke scene would happen to get rid of the Black Order because, I think that would happen inevitably anyway. But Iron Man's still there, so he would send it through the wormhole, or whatever you want to call it, and save New York. Now, Jane, going on to her, she would still get the Aether, but she wouldn't go to Asgard. By this time, it's taking place in Thor the Dark World, and remember, Thor's dead, so yeah. She would not go to Asgard. Malekith would find Jane, take the Aether from her, and kill her. The Dark Elves would then attack Asgard in payback. And Curse would kill Thor and Loki's mom, Frigga, and this would in turn enrage Loki, who would quote-unquote die, like he somewhat did, similar to what he did in the original story, but this time he would be on his own and not with Thor there. Odin would then wake, thirsty for revenge. Because, Frigga, Thor, and Loki all dying, that would definitely wake him up in a rage. So, with him and his army, Malekith and the Dark Elves and everyone would die. Loki, who's then revealed to have faked his death, would disguise himself as a soldier and overthrow Odin, because there's no Thor to rein him in. So, that would happen. So he would ultimately keep his threshold over Asgard. Now, every movie after that would go the same for the Avengers, except with Vision, they wouldn't trust him as easily because, he didn't pick up Thor's hammer because he's dead. The Avengers wouldn't even know about him. It would then continue to go the same, except Doctor Strange, he would never meet Thor, so that's also a thing. Okay, now we move on to Thor Ragnarok. No one would be on Earth with Loki on Asgard, so Odin would die alone on Earth, which would honestly be really sad in the grand scheme of things. Then Hela would be unleashed, and she would go to Asgard to reclaim her rightful place. I feel like Hela and Loki would have definitely a better interaction, but Hela would proclaim herself the true rightful heir to the throne. And considering the fact that Thor is definitely, more skilled, I would have to say, than Loki. Loki is the god of mischief and everything. That does give him the edge. But in terms of, combat and everything else, Hela would kill Loki with ease, I would have to say. Allowing Hela to rule with an iron fist. Hulk would actually remain on Sakaar, never to return to the Avengers again. Now, with Thanos, he would still destroy Xandar, but with Asgard completely properly defended, especially with Hela, he decides instead to go to Earth first. Now, people who he meets down there, obviously, like the original continuity of Infinity War, Iron Man, Wong, along with Spider-Man, who eventually shows up, and the Doctor Strange, they would all be there, but this would honestly barely be a fight for Thanos, as easily as he took them on in the original. Possibly even killing Strange this time to get the Time Stone. After that, he would invade against Scarlet Witch and Vision and take the Mind Stone before Cap's team could even get there. Now Thanos goes to Asgard and faces off against Hela, the one and only true warrior on Asgard. Now the fight seems to go pretty one-sided, Thanos actually retaining the fight for quite some time. But it's not going to be like that forever. Thanos starts to realize that Hela is actually growing stronger, and before he can figure out why and truly, he attempts to reverse time, hopefully to give him the edge. But he only realizes that even this isn't working. Hela seems to be immortal in the domain of Asgard, which then makes Thanos realize the only way to actually stop her. While he holds her off, he tells his minions to go and revive Surtur to destroy her. Surtur arises and destroys Asgard. Finally being able to get the Tesseract Thanos, he does the snap. And I would have to assume that all the same people still survive the snap, but Thor isn't around in this world. So, yeah. When Thanos did capture Strange, he told the Avengers about everything, and eventually Rocket Raccoon and Nebula meet up and go to Earth. And that stuff, along with Captain Marvel, that stuff still goes down per the usual. But this time, whenever they go to get Thanos after he does the snap and everything else, Thor isn't there to slice his head clean off. So they would actually probably imprison him rather than kill him. But they would still torture him every day for what he did. They would still have the idea to time travel, except, like I said, Thor wouldn't be there this time, so likely going to Asgard, it would likely just be Rocket, and maybe someone else, I would have to assume. Now, here's another big thing. With Thanos being imprisoned instead of killed, whenever the people go to time travel, I guarantee this, he would probably find a way to escape and go through the portal to meet up with his past self. Because at that point, he would just be like, no, snapping didn't do enough for these people. And he would basically come to the realization that Endgame Thanos came to, and that he basically needs to kill everyone. Sort of like Zamsu with the Zero Mortals plan and everything. I know I'm comparing it to Dragon Ball, which I haven't yet done, but I'm just saying. With Endgame Thanos and old Infinity War Thanos teaming up, the battle would be even more catastrophic. How exactly? I don't know if Thanos, if they would honestly, like, be able to, like, get different stones from different eras, but honestly, just having two Thanoses there, I honestly think that the events of Endgame would go pretty similar. The Avengers would all show up, all that stuff happens, except this time, with the old Thanos there, possibly even getting rejuvenated and healed by the old Thanos, whatever way that might happen, things would definitely turn out harder. But ultimately, I think that the battle would still end the same, with Iron Man dying and Captain America time traveling back to return the stones. And yeah, that's pretty much where we leave things. Now, in a lot of cases, you guys are probably like, Nick, you told us that it wouldn't really be truly a sad story. This sounded like a pretty melodramatic and sad story to me. Well, in many cases, yes. Without Thor, a lot of things wouldn't really turn out happy. But for the Avengers, nothing would really, outside of Endgame happening really, with people getting snapped away from existence, nothing else would really... It would only affect... If Thor was actually killed by the Destroyer, it would mainly affect Asgard's point of view, more than Earth's. In some ways more than others, I would have to say. But many of the Avengers movies would just go completely the same. But like I said, even if two Thanoses teamed up, I still think events could have gone down the same exact way in Endgame. Having another Thanos there would indeed make things a lot harder than originally, but possibly not by that much. It's not like two whole Black Order armies would be showing up or anything, you know? So, yeah, that's pretty much where we leave things. What do you guys think? Do you think something like this could have happened? What do you think could have happened had Thor actually been killed by the Destroyer? Leave a comment down below, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and want to see more, and I will see you guys next time.